Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you all for coming out this evening so we can officially open Southbury's newest investment in our children and our young adults. I want to thank Rob Kane and Arthur O'Neill for coming out here tonight. They're going to have a few words to say in a little while, but I had heard that Arthur had challenged Rob to a game of one-on-one after the ribbon cutting, so I know I'm going to stick around for that, and I hope you will too. When I came to office, and I met with Ron, where's Ron? With Ron Calvin, our Parks and Recs director. I was surprised when he told me that the community park basketball courts were in a sad state of disrepair and they needed work. I had played here years before, and I thought the last time I played here they weren't so bad. I mentioned this to some other people, and they said, "Why would you want to spend money at this community park? Nobody uses those courts. That's going to be a waste of time and a waste of investment." And as I thought about it, as I drove by on 67, I hadn't seen people playing out here. So I drove over, and I took a look, and I saw a rusted out backcourt over on this side and a rusted rim. On the other side, there was no backcourt and no rim, which is the way I like to play, but that's not the way everybody likes to play. All my shots go in that way. And the courts were a wreck. There were cracks, there was a state of disrepair, it was dangerous, and it looked terrible. So together, we worked pretty hard, very fast with the cooperation of the Parks and Rec Commission and the Board of Selectmen, and we said, what can we do about this? And pretty quickly, we figured out that we had an underutilized grant from the state of Connecticut to help us do some infrastructure projects, and we decided we could repurpose that with projects that could get done this year. We identified this, and we realized this was taxpayer money, just sitting in a bank, not being invested, not generating any value to the community, and not helping employ real people. So with the cooperation of the Malloy administration, we were able to repurpose the grant for projects we could get done this year. Then we began a competitive procurement process to find the best provider to build the two new courts. Now when we developed the bid, we thought what we wanted to do is put two courts here instead of one, and we'd probably just go with asphalt. However, one bidder, Classic Turf, suggested that we should also consider post-tension concrete as an alternative to asphalt. Unlike the short life of asphalt that needs constant repair for cracks and other movements that happen as the soil moves beneath it, post-tension concrete comes with a 25-year guarantee against cracks. That means lower maintenance costs, and it means safer courts. And that sounded like a smart investment. And how about these colors? Aren't these really knockout? So I want to just take a second, thank you. And by the way, I'm going to ask Ron to pass around, for those of you with short memories like me, what the courts used to look like. So you can remember what we were up against when we started here with this project about 8 months ago. I want to just, I'm not sure where he is right now, but I want to thank the people from Classic Turf, and that's Tumar Aaron, over there in the back, and maybe Tumar, you can come over here at some point real soon and help with the ribbon cutting. He's the president of Classic Turf, and he's here with Mike Fortuno, who was also very helpful in making this project happen. And I think they did a terrific job to make something that really looks sharp, is going to make Southbury proud. I understand people from Waterbury were down today salivating at what we've done here. And I want to just point out the kind of thoughtfulness that Tumar had that I could relate to. If you notice, these fences are pretty far set back. When I grew up, the fences were right behind the backcourt, and I have scars to show from those those fences. But these fences are going to last a lot longer because the kids aren't going to be running into them all the time when they finish up a layup. And they're not going to get hurt, and the fences are going to last. That's because of his insight that he brought to the project, and I'm really happy about that. And for those of you who don't know, Classic Turf is located just down the road in Woodbury is where they're located. And that's their concept of this whole post-tension concrete. And I know Tumar would be glad to answer any questions about it. And you're much better off asking him than asking me. So before we go ahead with the ribbon cutting, I'm going to turn it over to Rob or Arthur to say a few words. So Rob, thanks again for coming out.
Thank you, Ed. I was thinking Democrat versus Republican because I think we have a height advantage. If it weren't for Ronnie Pugliese, of course. But thank you, Ed, for inviting us here this afternoon, and to all of you that are going to enjoy these courts. This is the opportunities, the times where state and local governments work well together with the private sector, like Ed mentioned, with the local companies that are available. So it's very important that projects like these come to fruition for the betterment of the community and, of course, all our quality of life. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to many years of playing on these courts.
I want to thank Ed for inviting me and for this project, repurposing this money. I remember when the steep grants were first initiated a number of years ago. They were created because towns like Southbury did not benefit from the monies that the state would disperse, usually to larger cities. We just didn't qualify because of our population and because of the kinds of projects that people needed in Southbury. And this is a tremendous example of the kind of benefit that the STEEP grant program provides, and which has been providing to towns like Southbury all across the state of Connecticut. And I hope everyone here, especially the young people, some of you will be able to, I hope, be sure, determine whether or not that 25-year guarantee has in fact been lived up to. And I want to hear from you if it hasn't been. Let us know as soon as you see a single crack. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur, and thank you, Rob. I did want to recognize one other person here, which is Paul Laskowitz, who's, I guess, the president of the Basketball Booster Club. If the sun wasn't so bright, I probably am looking straight at him, but back there. And I know they're going to make sure these courts are well utilized and a great asset to the community. And thanks, Paul, for the great programs you've been putting on and helping make Southbury achieve that. After we do the ribbon cutting, we're going to have a short demonstration by the Pump Rock Girls varsity basketball team. I want to thank their coach, Joe Fortier, who's out here and helped bring them here. And after that, everybody else can go and play, including Rob and Arthur. So with that, I'd like to ask Charlie Rosa to come forward.
I wanted to recognize some of the commission members, Phil Adams, Tom Carroll, Larry Ernst. And I wanted to thank Tom, too, because this has been a vision of Tom's for years. And he was bugging us to get this done. And finally, the STEEP grant money was available, and we got the project done. Thanks, Tom.
Finally, before we do the ribbon cutting, we did want to put a sign up to dedicate these courts, basketball courts dedicated 2012 with the name of the Board of Selectmen, and recognizing the assistance of the Connecticut STEEP grant that Arthur referred to before. We'll be putting this up officially probably in a day or two. We got to drill some holes and things like that. 1, 2, 3. All right.